How are we doing, everybody? Welcome to the show. My name is Bo.
I'm Jamie, and this is
Adjusting to Life, a chiropractic married couple's take on life, love, business, parenting. Welcome back to the show. We got a good one for you today, don't we?
I think so. Yeah, we're just talking about how, we all do hard things and want encouragement with it, but how do we implement that with our kids? And, when they go and do hard things, especially new things, and they mess up or they fail or, they're at the top of the slide and they're terrified to go down, like, how do we work with them as humans and see their human experience going on too?
Yeah, and I think too, it's a good segue. We'll probably jump into, not that we discipline them for their mistakes, but then how, when they make a mistake, that's something they know to do. How do we respond, and how do they see us making our mistakes, and how we respond? But jumping into the first part, I think I had two things that popped into my head right away with this. And both of our kids are very different. And in regards to making mistakes, right now, our 7-year-old is like addicted to Lego. If you gave him, like, his dream would be just go through the Lego aisle and you can get everything you want. Anything, any Lego ever in the Lego store. And he's really good at it, to be honest. Like, he's 7, he's building stuff. Granted, like, the ages are, rated. Who knows who's making those ratings? I don't trust any agencies anymore. It's all a scheme. But he's doing it, and it's inevitable. Every hard one, there's one step that is just one or two pieces off. And if you've ever done a Lego, it seems okay until step 39 comes along and it's one off and it doesn't fit. So then how do you deconstruct that? And a few times it's been literally start from the very beginning. We have to deconstruct everything. And he's an emotional guy. I don't know where he gets that from. And he'll just go, and he just pouts. And
the world is over.
And he said the other day, he goes, all my hard work is just wasted. And I said, you know what, buddy? You now know exactly how not to do that. And you did 30 of the 32 perfect. So I don't think anything is wasted. I think now you're going to go back and do it even faster. And there was just enough to say, okay, that wasn't a waste, and my effort was, that work was worth it. It wasn't all about the result. And I think I even said something about, like, look, you did this by yourself. Now you and I are going to sit down and do it together. How often do you and I get to do me and you Legos, not uninterrupted, right? So now we had some value to the redo, not just a redo. So Legos with that kid is a perfect example of letting them know that in a mistake, it's just one of the, 10,000 ways or 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb that Edison did. But yes, the point is not that I could just say, yeah, you're right. That was a lot of hard work and you got to redo it. Deal with it. We go through hard things. But, like, why do we go through hard things? The why behind the what. And I think when you can give them just something little like that, then in life, when business comes along and they're supporting a family and multiple families, let's say, as we're kind of doing with being a business owner, something hard comes up, we don't go, oh, great, that wasn't part of the plan, what do I do? We go, okay, well, let's first assess what could be going on and how could we make that better. And sometimes you do have to go backwards a little bit, is what it feels like. And then with Max, baseball. Kid loves baseball every single day, all baseball, all the time. And I try to explain to him, because he's a good hitter, but some of the best hitters hitting 300 to 400 are still failing 60 to 70% of the time. So the majority of the time, the best baseball players in the world fail, which is a really weird, it's so different than every other sport when you think about it like that. And it's been really valuable for him, because I think the expectation, instead of your expectation being the accolade, the victory, the expectation is, I'm going to do every single part of this process to the best of my ability, because more often than not, well, actually not in baseball, less often than not, but still a good rate, I do get a hit. And even if I don't, it's close. And I can know what I did different or could do different. And I use it as a tool to change my next at bat, because especially in baseball, you can go 1 for 3. And if that one's a big hit, nobody remembers the other 2. And if you remember the other 2, you're not going to get that third one. And so for those 2 specifically, I think those are cool ways we've seen growth in not just them, but our ability to take hard things and turn them into good experiences, right? Like valuable time that's unattached to outcome, that's only attached to fulfilling your max effort and potential, which is a huge thing I think a lot of people fail with, is when a circumstance fails, they don't see it as a temporary circumstance, they see it as the situation that defines them. I am someone going through this. I am attacked by this situation. No, you're not. You're the same person you were before that happened, and now that person can handle this and be the person that overcame it to be at your next level. But instead we stay stuck in that spin cycle of failure.
Well, and on, like, a bigger adult picture side of it, whenever you're going through the valleys, it's so hard to try to see what God's trying to teach you in that. Like, what is the blessing in this, right? And sometimes it's just that, hey, we get to now spend time together making this Lego instead of you doing it solo, because I think one of my hardest lessons in life is to not do it solo, and have that opportunity to see the lesson and to find that beauty behind the pain, right? Like, I think, whatever the pain is, whether it's a Lego thing or you get struck out at the plate, I think if we can teach them that there's a lesson in every single experience, then it's not a failure or a success, right? It's just, this is the experience that we're having.
Yeah, and I think you kind of touched on it, like, what's the lesson that God's trying to teach me in this? And I think I just saw this the other day, that God will reveal to us all the steps after we've walked through his unknown time with faith that he's doing it, and he will reveal it. So I don't need to know, this is something I'm having a hard time with, I don't need to know how, and I don't need to know where it's going. I just need to know that I'm on the road that God's got me on. And again, this goes back to that analogy of, if I know I'm supposed to be on Interstate 10 and I'm going the right direction, I don't need to know like what mile I'm at each time. I know I'm on this road until I see where I'm supposed to be. And so when I get to my exit, I know that we made it. I already know that road gets there. And so if you can have faith that he is working all these things out that you can't see, then at some point when you get that result, then you'll look back and go, okay, now I see it. And I think it's not any type of faith flexing if you know exactly what's going to happen. It's kind of like Back to the Future, how Biff gets super rich, right? And the second one, anyway, he gets a sports betting book and he makes all his money sports betting because he has all the answers. And now, granted, that'd be pretty cool, but the whole reason betting's fun is because you don't know what's going to happen. The whole reason it's fun to bet $10 on some game somewhere that you don't even care about is now you care about it. And it's just exciting. And so I think when you can just have the faith, you're going towards the right thing and you're doing the right things for the right reasons, and you might not know the outcome, but you trust so much that you're going the right way because God put you here, that I'll see it at some point. That's how you become strong. That's how you, I think, become impressive to yourself and your loved ones, in the sense that you're impressing them that you can be counted on. Not that you did something, that you can be counted on when it's not good. When you are in the valley and you stick to those values because you know that you've taught your kids these hard things are no different than big hard things.
Right.
It's all a perspective. Whether it seems big or it seems small, it's going to take the same skills that you're instilling in these small situations in the big one. And that's the cool thing, is it is very simple. It's just not easy.
Well, and reminding, and how do you have that conversation at that, that mind? I mean, you and I are still working on a lot of those things, right?
No, we do it right all the time.
However old we are, we don't have to disclose that. But how do we communicate that?
Old enough to hurt my shoulder at the Pale Fair.
Oh, you are old. You are so old. I'm so sorry.
I can't read without glasses.
Oh, life is hard. But how do you communicate that to your kids? How do you have them to see that, okay, your identity is not in this failure. Your identity is in who you are. Who does God say you are? You're going to be someone who's not going to give up, who's going to be flexible. We learned the definition of that word this week. Well, we tried to, and Max still thought it means that if you're super bendy.
For being flexible?
Yeah, there's other.
I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong, just for what we wanted. But being flexible.
He was born in chiropractic school, so he kind of, I feel like, he went to class in utero for a year.
He's just as much of a chiropractor as I am. In that, like what you said of, we have to acknowledge them in the process of the things. Like when Max got cut from the traveling baseball team last year, and he was like, he missed it by 2, just who he was like both thought that he misunderstood.
I didn't tell him for 4 days because I didn't want to deal with the reaction.
Crashed. But he took it and he was smiling and he was like, okay, I'm going to go do 100 hits and I'm going to do 100 pitches every day. And I think we can learn a lot.
And he still does.
That. And he still does.
And then he made the team. Yeah.
So where does that failure bring into the next success, and how do you acknowledge that in the kids?
Yeah, and I think, not to go into specific examples, but everyone listening can probably think of some story they've heard of someone that wasn't making it or was down and out and now is insanely successful. Sure. Mm-hmm. Most of the people who are very successful, who are sharing how to do that with others, are usually the people who didn't have it and it came into their life one way, shape, or form, and now they want to share and share and share.
Yeah.
And I think eliminating, again, ultimately for me, it all comes back to we eliminate the expectation that we conceive in our own head, because my plan can be a good start, but it's not the be-all, end-all. And when you look back at your life, we, as adults, can see timelines of mistakes or shortcomings that led to the greatest things we've ever experienced, or relationships that are irreplaceable and invaluable to us. And if they can learn that in their little kid language now, when something spills and they don't freak. When the other day at the fair, Mason got cold, Max took his sweatshirt off and gave it to him. Like, that sort of service in that heart doesn't happen until you're okay with being uncomfortable, because then he he had to be cold. And he had to say, no, I can deal with that because I want you to be better, and I can deal with this temporary pain. Small, but big.
Right.
Right? And like, what if that's how he's going to treat his wife someday, not just his little
What
brother?
if he will.
No, I mean, like, yes, he will, but like, he's going to have that choice someday with something a lot more significant than just his little brother at the fair.
Right.
And so if he's wired to serve down, he's wired to be okay with temporary circumstances being uncomfortable, it just opens up a whole nother world, especially in today's environment of the world, which is like, I'm uncomfortable, it's somebody's fault, not mine, I'm going to blame something and look for help. Like, no, you just gotta do. Stop stopping. All right, guys, if you made it this far, thank you for listening to the show. We really appreciate you. We've got more content and topics coming up. If you have something you'd like to hear about, please let us know, because we'd like to share info on what you actually want to hear.
And if you can like, comment, and subscribe, that would help us out, and share it with other people who you think would love it too.
Have a good day. Remember, progress, not perfection.
There you go.